Okay, so as you can see, once again, we are saying you are all welcome to Pagina Tuition. Okay, Jones, Amwa, you said my line keep on breaking. So let me see from others whether you are all facing the same challenge. So let me see from the test. Then I continue from there. Or Jones, if you can now hear me, fine. You just test and I move on. Yeah, it's who's testing.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
The line
yeah, it's quite clear now. The line is quite clear now.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we are. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Steven. So we can now move on. You see, this section was designed purposely to talk about some issues and how the training is going to be. Some people have not heard about Pagina Tuition before. And when we started announcing about the training, especially because the amount is, let me say, small amount, they think, I don't know whether we are fraudsters or something like that. Yes. And they must also think that way because of late, the way people are stealing from others in the wrong ways is not nice. So here is Pagina Tuition. I will be your tutor for the 2 weeks. And personally, my name is Patrick Boama, if you want to know me well. And the institution you have been registered now is also a registered institution in Ghana. So you can find Pagina Tuition in the books of Ghanaian companies. So don't worry about Pagina Tuition. Also, we also care about our students. We always take students' interest first. As we keep on saying, some people will pay money, huge sum of money, and they will be in the university system. At the end of the day, they won't even understand what research means. So you see, anytime you find it difficult writing your thesis, dissertation, proposals, now some schools has make it a requirement. Before you graduate, you must publish an article. But the issue is, personally, I can't even write proposal. How can I go ahead to write my thesis and also come to the end point of writing my article? So you see, it's very, very challenging. And that is why Pagina Tuition is there. We are solely there to assist, especially we are interested in the tuition sector, that we give you the information that will help you write it on your own. You see, it's better you know how to fish than we fishing for you. But aside that, we also work on people theses, articles, and the rest. And that one too comes with its own cost. So that is all about Pagina Tuition. We have a lot of staff. Yes, it is not only one person who is working here. So if you hear Pagina Tuition, it's not about one man who is working. No, we have staff, and they are also there. As time goes on, you'll be knowing them. This evening, we must all take notes that the 2 weeks training we are going to do is solely about research, how to write either thesis, how to write either dissertation, how to write either proposal. That is how the focus is going to be, and I'll tell you why. So as we move on, I'll be teaching you when we say proposal, what it means and the structure of a proposal. Then I also talk about the difference between thesis and dissertation. I know most of you are here, you don't even know the difference between thesis and dissertation. We use them interchangeably, but they are not the same. Let me tell you that one this evening. When we say dissertation, it has few pages than thesis. So averagely, every dissertation should have 60 to 80 pages. 60 to 80 pages. Take note of that. But if the number of pages is beyond 80 to 100, it means that it has moved from dissertation and it is now thesis. Now, those who are doing PhD, their thesis must be from 100 pages to 150 pages. At least within that range, you must be able to write. Averagely, it should be 120 pages if you are writing a thesis for PhD. So let's take note of that. So thesis is more voluminous, let me say it that way, than writing dissertation. So that's the difference. But when we say proposal, technically, some schools are taking the chapter 1 of every thesis or every dissertation. So when they say bring your proposal, and let's say the proposal is for MPhil, is for MBA, is for masters, or is for the undergrad students, most often they are taking the chapter 1. And you add small portion of literature review from chapter 2. Then you bring in the chapter 1, we already have a section called overview of methodology. So in the overview of methodology, you present it in the chapter 1 with literature review and the full chapter 1, and you are done with your proposal. That is how you write proposal. And whenever you are writing the proposal to, the English must be in a future tense. So let's say you are writing an objective, the study is to. So instead of you to say the study is to investigate, you just say the study will. It means that you are writing proposal. You are proposing for a supervisor to accept whatever you have as a content before you can go ahead and turn the proposal into chapter 1. So let's take note of that. And so as soon as we finish writing the chapter 1, the chapter 2, you already know how to write your proposal because I've talked about it right now. So that is how it is going to be. Then our research tool is going to focus on quantitative research. Let's take note of that. So as I was talking about, let me write something here. We will talk about, we have quantitative. Let me write it here, quantitative. If you have questions, you can just put it in the chat box. I will read it. Quantitative, qualitative. I hope we have been hearing this type of these two research. So purposefully, this 2 weeks training is going to focus on the quantitative and not the qualitative. And I'm going to tell you the difference between the two. When we say quantitative research, it means that we are going to gather data in a numerical form. When we say qualitative, it means we are going to gather data in a form of names and other variables that can be categorized. You see, when I say it this way, it's the same thing you read it in textbooks. You won't understand. So this is what Pagina Tuition is going to do. We break down every information for it to be simple for you to understand. Now, from today, if you partook in this free opening section, you must keep it in mind that when we talk of quantitative research, it's not about gathering numeric data. Yeah, that is the technical definition. But in practice, what is the meaning? It means that the questionnaire you are going to use to gather the information, this quantitative information, the questionnaire should be closed-ended. Let me write it here. The questionnaire should be closed-ended. When I say closed-ended, what does that mean? It means that you give them information for them to take one. An example, you ask somebody, how old are you? And the person is going to write an information from his or her own mind. It means you are gathering qualitative. But as soon as you ask the person a question, choose your age, then you give range. One range is, let's say, 0 to 18. Another range is, let's say, 19 to 39. Another range is, so you have given a range, and the person with one. In this case, this person with this particular question is gathering quantitative data. And the one who just asked, how old are you, is gathering qualitative data. So from today, when you see any questionnaire, where they have given you options to choose, it means that that person is doing quantitative research. And the person will give you a questionnaire, and the information on it, the questions are open for you to just pick any of them. The person is rather giving you qualitative information, or the person is gathering qualitative data. Please, let's take note of that. So when we say quantitative and qualitative and you are only interested in definition, it means that the definition cannot help you to write, but the actual meaning is what we are looking for here. And these are some of the things we are going to do. We try to simplify research for every student to also understand. And as I'm moving on, I said, if you have questions, just test it in the chat box and I'll read for you. I hope for now you understand what I'm going to do. Now, let's see the structure of the research. Let's see the structure of the research. Let me go straight to the structure. You see that the research is going to have it is going to have 5 chapters. So we have chapter 1 to chapter 5. And in each chapter, we have sections. So you can see that if you look at the structure I'm showing on the screen, we have chapter 1 is here. You see how we have structured it? We put it in the center. We don't joke with every single thing here. Then the title for chapter 1 of every research is introduction. At times, so I'm just giving you the general format, but you should also focus on school specific. At times, within the school, depending on the school you attend, they will tell you to label it general introduction. That will be the topic, depending on the school you attend. But the general one, which is accepted globally, is called introduction. But aside what we are doing, make sure you also follow the school specific I'm talking about. Then, because the chapter 1, who is trying to disturb us, please mute your mic for us. Mr. J. Williams, let me mute you. Good. So I told you the chapter 1 is called introduction, right? So it means that we don't have introduction under introduction. Let's say 1.0 introduction again. There is a reason for that. The main chapter 1 is called introduction. For you to see 1.0 introduction in anybody's work, it means that the person is now titling the thing as general introduction. In that case, the person can say 1.0 introduction. But let's assume the person does not title it general introduction and says write introduction again. It does not sound well. So maybe the lecturer or supervisor will say do it, but it doesn't sound well. Introduction does not have introduction. If you want to write introduction, then we must change the name from introduction and just make a general introduction so that we know this one becomes specific introduction. So let's take note of that. How do we write introduction for every thesis? We are going to learn that one through our training. Then you come to 1.1, which is background of the study. How do we write background of the study? We are going to talk about that. The next one is statement of problem. And we are going to also talk about how we write statement of the problem. This one, you see the S here, the P here, all should be capital. Capital. We'll be talking about all those informations. So please, let's take note of that. Let's take note of that. As we are moving on, we will talk about objectives of the study and we will write general objective, specific objective. This is the structure. We will go about research questions, significance of the study, overview of methodology, as I was talking about, is in the chapter 1. So scope of the research, what does that mean? Limitation, what does that mean? Organization, what does that mean? We will write all of them. Practically, we are not here to read definitions. As I gave you first definition, after that, I tend to give you the main meaning. So let's take note of that. Then we come to the next option. And that next chapter is literature review. We call it literature review. In this instance here, we are going to consider theoretical review, conceptual review. We are also going to consider hypothesis, concept review. What does that mean? Difference between concept and theoretical review. What is the meaning? And how do we write them? We are going to write them practically. So please, let's take note of that. That is why we are saying, if you think you have not registered, it is better you register and benefit all what we are going to do. We are also going to talk about methodology. That is chapter 3. So those who don't know, you see, I'm canceling this one because generally this is not accepted. It is school specific. And even not every lecturer, even within the same school, not every lecturer will accept that one. That's why I've canceled it. Now we will learn how to write introduction under the methodology, research design. And let me remind you, we will go and write 3.2 here. We call it philosophical framework. Philosophical framework. We will learn how to write that kind of framework before we do research design. Then we come to how to write population, sampling and sampling technique, data collection. You see, all these informations, we are going to talk about them and how we are going to structure the work. Then we come to chapter 4. The chapter 4 is about the analysis. I'm telling you the truth. Somebody will do your research analysis alone for you, and the person can take 3,000 or 2,000 for only analysis. We are going to give you that knowledge. So we are going to use a software called SPSS. Take note of that. SPSS. We are going to use that software. Before we use the software, I will make sure I give you the software for you to install. Or those who also have it can also install, and we all move along with it. So this 2 weeks training is going to be a lot of information. That is why you should be consistent. If you are not consistent, you cannot do. Because something reliability tests, what does that mean? We are going to talk about it, and we use something called Chromback Alpha. Maybe some of you have heard about Chromback Alpha before, but you don't understand. So we will interpret Chromback Alpha in this way. So let me give you some idea. Like the information you see here, does it mean that the questionnaire you set, is it reliable? Is it accepted? Does it make your research perfect? That is the reliability test we are talking about. So you see the first one, it is reliable. Why did I know this is reliable? 0.780 is reliable. If I'm interpreting, I will say that question was reliable. Why? I'm going to explain that one to you when we meet in the training. And that is part of the analysis. You are going to learn how to present correlation. You have heard about correlation analysis and you think that it is difficult mathematics. You are not going to do anything here difficult. Everything is going to be simplified and you understand all of them. Aside what you saw, we are going to do descriptive statistics, and all that. Then we come to chapter 5. The chapter 5 is talking about summary, conclusion, and recommendation. Only these 3. So a summary of findings, not just summary. So we are going to learn how we summarize the findings. We are going to learn how to write the conclusion and the recommendation. And we are good to go. And after that, when I ask you to write abstract, it will be easy for you. Then mind you, I'll also teach you how to do referencing. Last time somebody was asking on the page, that which software are we going to use for the referencing? And I said the person should pay, you know what we are going to do. How do we reference everywhere? Because if you don't reference your work well, it means you have plagiarized. Please, let's take note of that. If you don't reference your work well, it means you have plagiarized. So please, these are some of the informations we are going to deal with within these 2 weeks. And some people were talking about certificates. I got a call this afternoon. The person was asking, how is the certificate authentic? And I'm saying every registered institution, when it issues certificate, it is authentic. You see, whenever you apply for work, you have to put it on your CV that you have passed through training on how to write research work. And they ask you, where is your certificate? We make a copy for you. You make a copy to them. And that is why we are going to issue, certificate in the whole thing we are going to do. But it's not compulsory. We said those who want it should pay additional amount. And when we see that the number of people who need the certificate are few, it means that we cannot do for all of them. We must refund the money to them. For marginal tuition, we respect our dignity. Whenever you give us something and we say we can't do, we just submit your money to you. You don't need your money for anything. So if we see that those who are requesting for the certificate are few, because of the printing cost and the rest, we are trying to reduce. If we get bulk and we print certificate for them, fine. But a few people, we have to refund their money they paid for the certificate to them. And some people have paid for. So those who paid for, if you are here, you can take note of what I'm saying. So please, let's take note of that. These are some of the few informations we are going to talk about. Please, you are asking me, Sister Lillian, the registration cost. It is even not even registration. Registration is free. Tuition cost is only 100 cedis. Only 100 cedis. Some people were thinking, some people like us were fraudsters or something like that. They were asking some questions, and those institutions who knows us, they know that, oh, Virginia tuition came not even now, and we have been organizing tuition for other schools and the rest. We don't even work with only Ghanaian. We work most often with the UK students and those in Canada. But Ghanaian, when we are giving them something for free, they think that because it's free, it's not going to be something beneficial. Let me show myself well to you. Personally, I am a preacher in Church of Christ. And those who knows me, I've been sharing preachings and the rest. You can go to Facebook and the rest, you search for me, Patrick Boama, you see a lot of preachings I've been doing. So because of my dignity, I don't just come out and fraud people for anything. Let's take note. On all our staff are members of the Church of Christ and know how Church of Christ people behave. So take note of that. So please, one thing very, very important to us, we wanted to register for Zoom, but when I checked the amount, in fact, it's too big. Even the payments some people have made now, if I'm to use all of them for the Zoom crowd, it won't even be enough to register for the Zoom. So it means that every 40 minutes, we have to go and come back. Please forgive us for that one, because in future, when we get a lot of money, we'll be able to register so that it will take us 30 hours. If you register for the Pro, it will take you 30 hours. But if you don't register for the Pro, every 40 minutes, it will cut for us to go and come back. Recordings will be done and be submitted. Materials will be shared for this training we are going to do. And that, as I was talking about SPSS, we are going to install SPSS. I will try to get the software so that the installation will be easy for all of us. And we will be using for our chapter 4 analysis. You don't want this simple thing. What do you want again? So that is all what this is not our first section of training. The previous ones we are charging high money, but because we are starting 2025, it is just a gift to our students. Within 1 minute time, the 40 minutes for this one will end, and we have to go back. So please, I will send a recording to the Telegram page for you to go and just watch if you want to see something. If you have any question, go and post it on the training page, and we will come back to answer you. Thank you very much. If you have anything, please, you can just go to the page, highlight it there, so that we will come and answer you, because less than 1 minute, we will all be cut off, as I told you the challenge. Then I wanted to schedule it again. Please, I'm going to post the link there so that we can have some conversation small. Then you join again and you ask me the questions verbally. I think that will be okay. So I'm going to stop it, share the link again, then you join in for us to have that discussion. I think some people may be having some questions. Okay. So Sister Gifty, I'm going to share the link. We will all join again, then we discuss.